terrain for today's battle is set roughly in the River Tamar between Devon and Cornwall, fictional scenario between the French and British forces. There's a number of hills about which allow for line of sight over but not through. The river is fordable, but only by those forces that can enter skirmish formation, and if they can't enter skirmish formation, they can get through, but they're kind of disordered at the end. Where the tree is, that is a area of rough terrain, so boggy, marshy ground, and the road is a road with a bridge running over it. The hedges are passable by formed bodies of men, however it will take one movement to get over, so in essence one movement to get up to the hedge, a movement to get over the hedge, and then any subsequent movements after that are allowed to go forward. So the British force for the game today consists of 3 units of line infantry, 1 artillery and rifles. The rifles are the 1st 60th from the Royal American Rifles, which are the American counterparts to the 95th, or the American Loyalists I should say. In the centre we have, technically we have the Coldstream Guards. These are going to be in place for the 1st Battalion, the King's German Legion. So I'm going to use King's German Legion stats, but I like the battalion of the Coldstreamers. Behind them we have the 87th Royal Irish Fusiliers. That's those there. And then we also have a 32nd Cornish regiment. So they're the 3 line regiments, and then we finally have 248 battery Royal Artillery, which is over here in artillery fire support.
So my brigade for today. First off, I have a battalion of French light infantry, or leger, and I also have 3 battalions of line infantry, though they're actually painted up as units from the Young Guard Division as of 1812.
That's the end of movement turn 1 for both French and British forces. The French were a lot more successful than the British, with the British only managing to bring on 1 unit of line infantry and 1 cannon in not necessarily the best position. The French, however, have turned up en masse with 3 battalions of line infantry massing on the bridge, 1 to their left in skirmish formation, and their cannon has got onto the hill but has not yet deployed. We'll move over to shooting, although 12 inches is the range, so I think everybody's going to be out of range anyway for musket firing. Cool. So that's the end of turn 1. We'll move over to turn 2.
the end of turn 2 movement. As you can see from the British side of it, nothing's really happened. Apart from the artillery moved forward and the rifles are still refusing to turn up the cowardly green-coated riflemen, which has allowed the French to do a lot more. Would you like to explain what you do, Matt?
Yep, so my half battery of horse artillery were able to unlimber at the rear. My skirmishers advanced up to the ford but decided they didn't fancy getting cold and wet today. It is quite a cold day. My lead battalion crossed the river with another battalion following them, and my third line battalion decided to cross the river, but they're still quite disordered from the crossing, emptying their boots of water.
Cool. Excellent.
And I'll probably, while I'm thinking about it, shift my general where he can have effect.
Right, so there was no shooting from the British side of it because everybody's out of range or limbered. So for yourself, Matt, over to your French shooting. If you'd like to shoot, you don't have to. You can be quite merciful for the defenders on the British side.
So we're saying 8 for muskets, is it, or 12? Sorry.
12 for smoothbore muskets.
Okay,
so modify ranges of 12.
These guys are out.
So it's from your centre. So
yeah, I can't really shoot from my centre with that forward unit. They are just within, so they're in extreme.
So not the horses, it's the cannon bit. That's where the 8 is.
Yeah, so they're out of that. So probably the only thing is
though.
Yeah,
because
so
you are. I'm guessing you're just light smoothbore artillery. No, you're smoothbore artillery, aren't you? Not light, because that's horses. So 36 inches.
They are a horse battery.
Oh, you're horse battery. So you're most likely light, I'm assuming. Check it out. Is that what then depends?
Horse artillery, smoothbore artillery.
Okay, so smoothbore, so that's 36 inches.
36 inches.
So you're going to be in range, but you are over 8. So you're long range, so you get 1 die.
Yep.
It's a base of 4.
Yep.
Oh, no, over there. Yeah, so it's a 5 because you are over half range. You're not shooting overhead. So I'd say your skirmishers are that. Yeah, so you're looking at 1 dice, looking for a 5.
Nope.
Explode in a Hollywood fashion. So that's the end of turn 2 shooting. There's no close combat. We'll move over turn 3. Hopefully that the British will actually turn up. So that's the end of British turn 3 from a movement perspective. And as you see, all the British have now turned up. Yay! All they want to do is lull the French into a false sense of security and bring them this side of the river so when they retreat, they can't run away because there's a big river behind them. It was the master plan all along. So, in essence, what's happened is that the artillery is unlimbered through a initiative move because we play with reduced ranges. That's now down to 8 inches. The King's German Legion, who are being cosplayed by the Grenadier Guards, or the Coldstream Guards at the moment, they've arrived to block that road off. The Rifleman has finally turned up. Richard Sharp has appeared and swore at them a lot and got them moving. And the Cornish Regiment has decided to appear. Not quite gone as far as it wanted to, but at least it's here. And the Irish are just chilling their boots, waiting for everyone else to turn up because they've done all the fighting so far. Typical English, exporting all that to other nations to do. So, we'll move over to shooting. And we will start with the high rolling dice. it seems to happen. And we might as well start with the cannon because everyone likes a good cannon to fire off at the start. And as it's the closest target is this column from here. So that is approximately, well, from there 7.5 inches, which makes it not quite point blank range.
Bizarre.
So it's 2 dice because it's that it's a medium range. It's a base of 4. I could fire shrapnel, which gives me 3 dice on a base of 5. I'll just put that there just for a moment. So if it was a base of 4, I would get a +1 because I'm shooting at a column of artillery.
Mm-hmm.
So that would bring it down to a 3. Not close range fire, and I'm not over half range. So it would effectively be 3 if I was firing just round shot.
Yep.
Or grape. Yep. Or if I was firing shrapnel, it'd be hitting on 4s because it'd be the +1 down to that one. I'm going to throw the 3 dice looking for 4s.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So 3 dice looking for 4s. So that's 2 hits. 2 saving throws.
Yep.
So you are, what's your base? 4?
4, base of 4, but
So
I'm in column.
Does it matter if you're hit by artillery?
Okay.
So, but you are hit by -2 because you're hit by artillery fire at close and medium range. However, you are behind a bush, so that will help. So that gives you a +1 because you got light cover, which takes you 4 up to 6 down to 5. So 5s or 6 to save. No, 2
Nope.
casualties. I have some French markers.
But handily, no disorder as yet.
No disorder as yet. What's your stamina is 3?
Correct.
Right. So we'll do that bit. Okay. So next we'll do. I'm just going to call them the guard, just because it's easier, because that's who they are at the moment. They're going to fire at you in column, because why wouldn't I? So KGL, they are 3 to shoot as a basic, but I am first fire, so I get an extra dice, and I'm steady line, so if you do charge me I get to charge back, which is cool, and tough fighter. So it is going to be 4's basic. The range is about 8 inches, I think. So first one within range, but not point blank range. So so looking for 4s or more to hit the column. That's 2 hits with 1 disorder.
Disorders mean prizes.
Disorders do mean prizes. That one's fell off. Right, there we go. You can have the tiny one as well. Right, so you now need to take 2 saving throws. You are base of 4, but you are in tap column. So you take down to 3s. So you take 1 casualty and you save 1.
And that puts me at my stamina.
At your stamina level. Is this where line over column comes to the fore?
Because they're disordered, they can't do any initiative moves now, can they?
So the only thing you can do with a disorder is go backwards.
Yeah.
So you can go backwards away. You can't move forwards. You basically can't move anywhere other than backwards. A disorderly retreat. What that means is basically you then forego your turn of reordering and you stay disordered.
Yeah.
However, though, if I cause any more casualties, then I could potentially get you to run away, which I'm probably going to try and do anyway. So the riflemen are going to fire at the column.
Yep.
They are probably within 6 inches, looking at where they are, and because they're in skirmish formation, it's from any point, so they are within that 6. So my riflemen are a base of 3 because they're only a small unit. So base of 3 for the riflemen. I get first fire, which gives me the extra 1. And I am a sharp shooter, which basically I get to reroll 1 miss. So in essence, I'm looking for 3s. 4's basic, +1 for the point blank range, with re-rolling 1 miss. So that's 1 hit. and then re-rolling one of those. 2 hits. You have base of 4. You've got some cover because I'm firing through cover. So that's 3s. You're in an attack columns. You're saving on 2s. Save both of those, unfortunately. Do I want to open fire with the Irish? I don't, because you said you were out of range. Or I could just. I'm going to save that because you're not going anywhere with that column, and your other one needs to come forward. The Cornish can't fire anything because they're out of range, and I think that is it from my shooting. Yeah, that's it from the British perspective. There's no assaults, and we'll move over to French turn 3. That's the end of French movement turn 3. Matt, would you like to give us a quick overview?
Okie dokie. So, my voltigeurs, or I should say light infantry, my légère, forded the river and attempted to charge the British artillery battery, but got a bit puffed running up that hill. To the left, my 1 battalion of line infantry advanced past some marshy ground and shook out into line to engage in a musketry duel. And in the centre, I conducted a relief in place with my disordered battalion falling back and a fresh battalion passing through them to move up into the centre.
Cool, excellent. Right, over to your shooting.
Okie doke. So I will start with my artillery. They are going to fire at your Cornish.
Cool, that's the only ones they can see clearly anyway.
Yep.
So they are 29 inches. So long range, 1 die, 5s because you're firing over half range.
That's a 5.
A hit. And then for me, it will be a base of 4 up to a 5 because I'm hit by artillery at long range. So looking for a 5. Oh, looking for a 5 or 6. 6 saves.
Saved.
So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Next, my skirmishers are going to fire at the artillery because that's the most important target.
So you can ignore the artillery if you wanted, because it's classed as an unclear target.
Yep.
If you don't, because if you fire at the artillery, you're going to be on penalties. Well, it's going to be on basically on 4 because you get +1 for being within 6 inches.
Yep, and
But it's a -1 for being shooting at deployed artillery.
so it'll be a base of 4s.
You're basically back on 4s. But you can ignore it because it's classed as an unclear target. Same as the skirmishers, there you can ignore them. So if you want to fire at these, you can do if you're in range. So you basically got a choice of options.
Yeah, I'm going to take the chance of shooting at the artillery, especially because they have sharpshooter.
Cool.
So I'm going to fire at those guys.
So look for 4s. So disorder and 1 reroll.
And rerolls into nothing. So
Cool.
just 1 and a disorder, which is all I need.
So that works. Right, and for me, so it's a base of 4, no modifiers. Oh, I've dropped my dice. No, they take a casualty. There we go.
Okay, so they've shot and they've shot. So next I'll move to my blue in column. They are going to shoot at the KGL / guards. We said it's 8.
Yep. So you are in a attack column. You can shoot 1 die.
I'll take that.
So you're looking at 4s. No hit. They do go small little poof.
And my brown infantry are going to shoot at the same target. I am within 6.
Yeah, I said that's your equidistance between the two, so I'd say take either one.
Yeah. So 4s down to 3s.
You're within 6, aren't you?
Yeah.
So yeah.
3 hits.
3 hits. So I get 3 saves, but I am behind some cover. So I get a +1, so I'm saving on 3s. 2 saves, 1 not save. Cool. Right. I think that's all you can do shooting, because the only other one that hasn't shot is the column, but
a bit preoccupied.
Cool. So that is the end of French shooting turn 3. There's no close combat. So we will move over to British turn 4. So that's the end of British movement turn 4. And the only thing that's really happened is that the Cornish have got really angry at the French for crossing the River Tamar into the sacred Cornish lands, and they've charged down into the skirmishers. They really wanted to charge. They got a 3 on the dice roll, so they really wanted to do it. Everyone else has decided to stay still and watch the Cornish hack at the French, who have disgracing the Cornish land. Yeah, and I think that's it. So we'll now go over to shooting. So we'll start with the artillery. So whilst it is disordered, it can still see, because it's effectively 45 degrees, so it can still see you, that column, which is its primary target, so it should be firing at. Is it outside? So it is outside of 6, so it's on 2 die. Would be hitting on a 4. Hitting a column makes it a 3. It's disordered, brings it back to a 4. Or do I then add in a 3rd die for hitting on 5s, i.e. firing shrapnel? So it's either 2 dice on 4 with 50%, or 3 dice with a 3rd. I can never do my maths. I'm going to go for weight of fire. So I'm going to hit the front column with shrapnel, looking for 5s. When I wanted the dice to roll high, so low, they rolled high. When I wanted them to roll high, they roll low. So that one's done some firing. We'll move left to right. So the rifles are going to fire into the same target. So they've used their first fire, so it's just a base of 3 dice now. They are, because you move, but basically within 6 inches. So I'm going to be shooting at you on a 3. Because that's all the modifiers at the moment. Nothing else changes. So looking for 3s. 2 hits. And you take a save of 2s because there's hedgerow and whatchamacallit. So that's 1 casualty. And you saved 1. Just.
I'll take just.
Just. Cool, so that's the rifles. Slowly do. Oh, sorry, Ed. They're sharpshooter, so they have a reroll. Sorry. They do that. That's a disorder as well. Sorry, and then take another save, saving throw. You got a disorder token though. So you save that one, but you take the disorder, which I'll take. I forgot their. How can I forget rifles or sharpshooters? Literally what you buy them for.
And also their longer range.
Yes, oh yeah, they're long range as well. Not their inability to follow orders like they did at the start of this game. However, it worked out right well. Okay, so what I will do, I'm going to start with the Irish.
Yep.
And they're going to fire into the Browncoats. Now, they haven't fired first, the Irish. So they're on first fire, because they held their fire last time. So, 4 dice. Are they within 6 inches, Matt? I think they are.
They are. I can tell you how.
I can tell you that. But I thought I'd just double check. So I'm looking at 3s onto the brown dice, brown guys.
My poor Tyrelliers.
So that's 3 hits, no reroll, and looking for base of 4s to save.
2 saved,
2 saves.
1 goes through.
1 goes through. There you go.
My poor Tyrelliers.
Oh no. And so let's just stick some smoke to remind myself. And then the King's German Legion. Now because you've appeared, their closest target are these. However, they are behind cover, so I could, if I wanted, put into them. But I think I'm going to fire into those, just because why not? So I have fired first. So it's just 3 dice. They're within 6 inches. So we're looking at 3s. 2 hits.
2 hits, 2 saves. On 4s.
Yeah.
1 save, 1
save,
goes
1
through.
goes through. So the fire supremacy of the British is starting to work. Just whittle you down. And I think that is all the shooting.
Okay.
So what's your base hand 6?
Base hand 6.
Cool, excellent. So we would hit. So we hit together. Base is a 4. I am charging, so I get a +1. So I'm hitting on a 3.
Yep.
You are skirmishers or in skirmish formation at the moment, so you have a -1, so you're hitting on 5s.
Yep.
So I'll roll mine. Looking for 3s. That is 3 hits. So 3 hits for me, and you're looking for 5s.
And that is 3 hits
as well. Now, this is not as I was expecting. Right, so that means I take 3 saves of 4 because there's no modifiers to anything, so we're literally straight into 4s. So I take 1 casualty. So I've taken 1 casualty, and you're looking for 4s.
And I take 2 casualties.
2 casualties. So at the moment, I am winning the combat. From a supporting perspective, I can be supported by the rifles to my rear. You can be, which makes it 3.
Yep.
You can be supported by one of these units to your flank. You've got nothing to your rear, nothing to your other flank. So that's 1. So I still win the combat by 1 because our sports cancel each other out. So I win that combat by 1, which means you need to take a break test at. I'll just double check. So it is. You're not disordered, not suffered from 1 or 2. So it's just a straight D6 roll, 2d6, sorry, and see what happens. 4. That's bad.
That's very bad.
Unit breaks and is deemed destroyed. Remove the entire unit from the field.
Well, there it goes.
There it goes. Wow. Obviously, the Cornish do not like you stepping over into their sacred territory.
Apparently not.
So, because I won that combat, I can now do basically a movement. I'm not. Oh no, because you're still in a column, so I'm not going to charge you. But what I will do is advance forward. Basically 1. I'm basically going to reposition my line so that I'm not getting fired down the flank. So you can hit me from behind, and that apparently has no effect on infantry. Getting hit from behind.
I suppose it's very little, very
different from being fired from the front.
Yeah.
Right. So they've just reformed the line there. That's the 3 for there. That's his one there. Sorry, that's that one clear. Right, so that is the end of British turn 4. That was quite successful. Cool. We'll now move over to French turn 4. So that's the end of French movement. Matt would like to give us a quick overview of what happened.
Okay, so starting on the French right, my brown-coated tirailleurs decided to charge the perfidious English.
Irish, I'd like to point out. Oh, don't call them English.
The just as perfidious Irish. And my 2 remaining battalions of line in the centre are still getting their stuff together. The general's gone to take some colonel by the ear. Meanwhile, my horse battery decided to limber and trundle halfway down the hill, and then got a bit confused.
Forgot what he was doing.
Yeah.
He's probably been interrupted by all the refugees and the guys who've just run across the river. Like, you may run the wrong way, my friend. Where are you off to?
Yeah, impeded by the remnants of the light battalion.
Cool. So, in terms of shooting,
I've only really got 1 unit that can shoot.
So you've actually got 2 units. So your column, you can just shoot 1 dice.
Yeah.
So you theoretically, I think you can shoot your flanks. It doesn't say 1 dice for your front. I don't know, maybe I can't remember. But effectively,
it would make logical sense
because
that
they're meant to be like firing left, right. So I'll tell you what. I'll say that the guys can fire 1 dice to their flank just because it is a column. There's guys milling around. It's the up pot shot, etc.
Yeah.
And then the guys to the front because basically
1 dice.
1 dice into them, all them if you really wanted to. Because they're technically close, but you can ignore them.
Because they're skirmishers.
Yeah.
Put 1 dice in them.
And then I'll let you have a dice. It's going to be a 5 to hit anyway.
Yeah.
4 actually.
4's for those. So I'll start with the rear French battalion. Then they'll put a single single shot
Why not?
into your Cornish.
Yeah, so effectively you're looking at 4s because you're disordered, close range, mitigates each other's 5.
That's a hit.
And then 4 to save. Oh, miss. 4 to save. No, I should have took that 4. That's fine, I'll take that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
these guys are going to put 1 shot there, 1 shot there. If
you can only do you can only 1 shot because you're in a column. It's 1 shot.
Okie doke. In which case I'm more likely to hit them, so I'm going to hit them. So 4s again. Yeah.
Coolies. So that's all you're shooting. Now over to close combat.
Yep.
So with the close combat, Matt charged me on initiative. I had the special rule of steady line, which allows the British to effectively fire without the benefits of closing fire, and then effectively charge or counter charge as infantry. So in essence, I fired. I put a casualty on, which makes him shaken because you're now at 3. And we are now basically charging each other. So the hedge doesn't really count because I've leapt over the hedge, but for make it ease of movement, we basically just kept the hedge in there because it looks cool. But in essence, we are now both charging each other. The hedge doesn't count for anything. So imagine open field type activity. So I have the tough fighter rule, which basically allows me to re-roll 1 missed die. I'm Irish, so I take 6 die because I'm just standard British line infantry, but with the Irish pennant. So I'm on 6 die. I'll be hitting on 3s because I'm charging. Yep. You are on 6 die, hitting on 4s because you are shaken. Yep. Because you'll be on 4s, 3 down because you're charging, 4s because you're shaken. So I'm looking for 3s with 1 reroll because I'm a tough fighter. So that is 4 hits at the moment. And then looking for reroll at 5 hits for me.
Okay. So 4s. And that is 3 hits.
3 hits, cool. Right, because we're basically the same infantry, forced to save, no modifiers because we're in line. So you are saving 5 attacks on 4.
5 attacks on 4. And that is 3 that go through.
So you've taken 3 casualties. You hit me 3 times check.
Correct.
So I'm saving 4s. I have 2 attacks that go through. So I've taken 2 casualties. Let me get your chit. You've taken 3. So at the moment,
you're winning.
I am winning by 1.
And you've got those guys
I
who
have
can support.
Guys to my rear to support. You have guys to your rear, so they basically cancel each other out. You're just outside of 6. It's not going to make any difference because the 2 will cancel each other out anyway. So I have won by 3. However, you're at stamina 6 now.
Yep.
So you are 3 over your casualty.
Yep.
So you take 2d6 for your break test, minus 3 for the 3 casualties. Oh, okay, so 3 down minus 3 is a 0. Okay, so I'm not even going to have a look at that. Basically, those brown-coated dudes have got a bit wet. They don't really like it, and they've gone, screw this for a game of soldiers. So I can make a victory move or can do something with my units. So I will do, and I am basically going to advance because they're basically where they are, and they're going to go. Oh, I might as well pop up over the fence. Well, I'll take you from there. So effectively, they're going to form a line around here. Cool. Right, so they've moved forward as part of their victory move, and yeah, cool. Okay, so that's the end of British movement turn 5. The only real movement happened, the cannon decided to rotate round to the left just so it's got a better line of fire into the column. The Irish, because they had successfully defeated their Tregalle opponents, they basically moved into position to enfilade the column. And the rifles had decided they were going to leave the columns to their red-coated brethren and start heading towards the river so they can put some fire onto the cannon, which is now threatening the flank of the Cornish. So yeah, that's the end of British movement. In terms of broken brigades, etc., we're not going to play broken brigades because we've basically got 1 brigade each. And at the moment, Matt is controlling the objective, so he just basically needs to last out. And see how long those columns can sustain themselves. You never know.
From the British
fusillade.
From
the British fusillade that is now coming on from front and centres. I say front and flanks. In very typical British fashion. Come on in, and I've just folded the flanks around on top of you. Ironically, both your flanks have gone. So we'll start with some shooting. We'll start with a cannon. We'll hit the closest column, which is here. I'd say that one probably doesn't get enfilading just because it is slightly off centre.
Happy with that.
But the range is. Did you move forward? Oh no, I moved. Technically, I rotated around, so I'd say it's just over 6. It's like on the cusp, because I only moved, so I'll say it's just over 6. So it would be 4s basic.
Yep.
Ba-bum.
3s because column.
3's going to attack in a column. Do I want to throw the extra dice on to make it 4s? That gives me 50% hit chance. So I'm going to make it shrapnel, which then basically brings it back up to a 4. And plus you save on 6s anyway.
And 5s. It means you're more likely to get a disorder.
Exactly. More likely to do some damage because I got 50% chance anyway. So we're looking at 4, so that's 2 hits. No disorder. But your saving throw is 4s down to 2. No, sorry, 4s up to 6. Because you're hit by, and then back down because there's a bit of hedgerow in the way. So 5s.
5s. Saved 1.
Save 1, take on casualty.
So that takes them to 2.
Oh, they're on their way.
And yeah.
So we'll then do King's German Legion, because why not? So they're on 3 dice. They're still over 6 inches, I believe. Yes. So we are looking at 4s. No modifiers. 4s. Disorder. Which will be good. And it's one save at
4s.
No, you're in
3s.
a column. So 3s because you're in a column.
Saved.
But I've disordered you, which is good. The Irish, they're going to fire into these chaps, and I'd say they probably are on the flank.
Yep.
So effectively, get to
Rerolling
reroll
missing.
all my misses. So they're within 6 inches. So I'm hitting you on 3s with rerolls. So that's 2 hits.
And 1 reroll.
And 1 reroll. 3 hits. However, you do get column and hedgerow. So you are saving on 2s.
2s. 2 go through.
1 goes through.
Sorry, 1 goes through
you
and
saved
2
1.
saved.
So you're now at your stamina, which is good. Right, the Cornish. So their closest target is the rear guys.
Yeah.
Just because of where they are. Would love to have fired at them. Into the rear guys. Again, same as them. They're enfilading. They get a +1 because of their range. So looking at 3s. 1 hit with 2 rerolls. Oh, same roll. So just the 1 hit, and then you're saving on 2s.
Saved.
So the firing's still not quite as effective, just because you're in a column. And then the riflemen, they will fire at the artillery piece. They're basically over 6 inches. 3, they're a sharpshooter. Which gives me the reroll of 1 miss. 4s, because there's lots of horses everywhere. So that's 2 hits with 1 reroll, which I'll need. Looking for 4s, nope, so 2 hits.
And saving on 4s.
Saving on 4s.
Both go through.
Does that make you shaken? Stamina of 2. So you don't need to take a break test just yet. And I think that is all of my shooting. Yeah, it's all of my shooting. There's no close combat. And we'll see what happens with the French.
Okie doke.
The end of French movement 5. So Matt would like to give us an overview.
Okie doke. So the French horse battery unlimbered eventually, so they can try and bring some fire on the Cornish before they disappear. My Fusilier Grenadiers at the back shook out into line facing the Cornish, and my commander went to rally my Fusilier Grenadiers at the front. Sorry, Fusilier Chasseurs at the front. Okie doke, so I'll start off with my artillery into the Cornish.
Okay.
So I am at 6 inches
6
from the
inches,
edge of you. So that will be 2 dice.
So 3 dice because 6
3
inches is close range.
Yep.
So you are. So you'd be on a base of 4.
Yep.
You are 3 because you're close range.
Yep.
You are shaken, which brings you back up to
4.
4.
But I'm also enfilading.
Yes, so you get to re-roll your misses.
So 4s. 1 6.
1 6, so that's 1 hit, and then re-roll the 2 misses. 2
another
6s.
6.
So
So
that's
2.
a disorder. And then 2 saves. This is going to be painful. So in essence, it's a base of 4, but I am hit by artillery at close range, so I'm basically saving on 6s because it's a -2. No, they take 2 casualties. So that puts them up to 4. So I need to take a break test. Before I take the break test, are you going to shoot at them with something else? Because you only take 1 break test. If you're going to shoot at them with that thing,
Yeah. That's what
you
I
might
had
as well-
intended. So
you
I
might
might
as
as
well do
well.
that, and then I'll take the break test at the end.
Yeah. So I'll fire with these guys.
Although saying that, I mean theoretically, actually no. I know. So theoretically, you should do it in a row. But if you fire with those guys, you can have a greater chance of me breaking because any
Yeah.
excess casualties goes against me.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. I'll shoot at them just to deliver the coup de
Yeah,
grace.
fair enough.
So
So you're not shaking anymore. So you're basically hitting on 3s. 3 dice, looking for 3s.
and that's 2 hits.
2 hits, and I'm saving on 4s because there's no other modifiers. So I save 1. 1 goes through. So that's the break test. So that's 2d6. Oh, sorry, -2 for being over. That's -2 down to 4. If I remember that correctly, that is gone. So the Cornish have gone. They've been hit by that artillery and the combined weight of fire from the French, and that has seen them off. Also, that's your one. That was one. Cool.
I'll take that.
I mean, that's it's 2 to 1.
Yeah.
It's what happens here. Combined weight of fire. It works.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So that is that, and then what are you doing with your last unit?
And my last unit, which will be these guys, their closest unit is this lot.
Yeah.
So I'll pop at them.
So 1 shot. Looking at you're disordered though, aren't you? So you're looking at 4s.
So 4s.
No. Coolies. There's no close combat, and so we'll move over to turn 6. With the loss of the Cornish has kind of helped me as the Irish have decided to charge that victorious unit who've just seen off the Cornish in the rear. So obviously they don't like their Cornish brethren being shot at. Everything else has basically stayed the same. The riflemen are very content to continue plinking away, and also the King's German Legion are just south of the camera. They're also content, mainly because there's no room for them to advance in a line, so they will stay where they are. So we'll move on to shooting. So there's 3 units that can shoot. We'll start with the cannon first. It's going to be. Do I just go for the 3 shots again? I think I'll go for 3 shots into them. So it's going to be 5s down to 4s because I'm going to fire shrapnel. Yeah, I think that's it because I'm hitting a column. So we'll talk about those 4s from this cannon into there. That's 1 hit. And then you take a save of 5. No, so you're now shaken. That's what we like. We'll start with these guys, and they're going to fire into there. So 3, 4s, there's no extra modifiers. Oh, they absolutely fail. God, I can't roll high today. And then finally, we will. The riflemen are going to fire at the deployed artillery. It's going to be 4s to 5s because you're now deployed. Am I within 6 inches? Probably not. I think it's probably over. No, you're just over 6 inches. So we're looking at 5s with a reroll because I'm a sharpshooter. That's 2 hits. 2 hits. 2 saves.
Both go through.
Both go through. You would take a break test, but every result for artillery on a break test is break. So that basically automatically breaks. So that unit is now basically being defeated. It had its moment of glory. And it's now not having its moment of glory. So we're now basically going to do the fight between the Irish and this unit French. So the French were attacked in the rear, so they basically lose half of their dice because they can only fire half to their rear or their flanks. I'm charging. The hedgerow doesn't really count because I would have got up and over because you're not there. So there's no defensive bonuses. It's basically just up and over, and we're good to go. So I'm hitting you on 3s because I'm charging, and I'm tough fighter, so I get to re-roll 1. So that's 5 hits.
And you're a tough fighter.
And re-roll. That's 6 hits. Okay. You get 3.
Yep.
You are hitting a base of 4, but you are engaged to your rear or flank, which is a -1. You're not disordered or shaken, so you're hitting on 5s.
Hitting on 5s.
3s on 5s.
3s on 5s.
3 dice.
Oh, sorry. Is it -1 as well as the halved?
Yes.
Because
So it's because theoretically, because you can only do half to your flanks. You can do everything to your front, only half to your flanks. Or it's up to half of the dice on your flanks. You could do everything to your front rather than the flank, but on your flanks or rear, it's only half the numbers.
Okay. Sorry, that took a moment because it's almost a double whammy of.
It is a double whammy. That's why you should never get a charge to the rear or the flank.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's one of those things. I had to. One way to shoot.
You have to do something. So effectively, you are now looking at 5s.
Nothing.
There we go. So you take 6 saves of 4.
I lose one of them.
You lose one of them. Okay, that's not bad. The rest of it is good. So you are now shaken.
Yep.
However, in terms of supports,
I can claim.
You can claim the support from this unit. I don't have any supports because it's to my left, to my right, to my rear. As much as these guys are within range, they're not actually technically to my left, to my right, to my rear, because it doesn't really tell you about things. So that is, in essence, draw.
Yeah. Are we assuming that those guys have turned around?
You are now allowed to turn around.
Yes.
So the next time, so they're basically locked in combat. You aren't shaken, which is good for me. Your boss is not with them; he's with the other unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's with the other unit.
He's with the other unit. Fine, but they are now shaken. That's cool. Right, that is all for me, and we will move to French turn 6. So that's the end of French movement turn 6. Matt, would you like to just give us a quick overview of all the movement that happened?
In a very dynamic movement turn, one of my French battalions that was locked in combat has turned around, so it's now fighting the Irish on a more even footing. Meanwhile, my French commander's gone to the front battalion and has rallied off a point of stamina. End.
Cool. Right.
Okay, French shooting 6.
Yeah.
I've really only got
1 die.
Yeah, I've got one dice to shoot with, so it'll probably be French into those guys.
Yeah, so you're basically looking at a 4.
Yeah, on a 4. Which hits.
Saving on a 4. Doesn't. That's fine. Take that casualty. Doesn't really affect me. Right, that's it for shooting. Now moving over to combat. So you're now back up to 6 die.
Yep.
I'm still on 6 die. 6 die. Right, so technically nobody won the last round of combat because it was drawn. You had your extra support, so
Yep.
we are. You are shaken though.
Yep.
So you're hitting on a 5 because it's 4 basic.
Yep.
And then hitting on a 5 because you are shaken.
Yep.
5. I'm still hitting on a 4 because I'm not shaken, but technically didn't win the last round of combat. So I'm basically back to a 4. You're on a 5, and I've still got to fight out, so I get to re-roll 1 miss.
Okie doke.
So looking for 4s. So I might need to re-roll one of those. That's my original roll. So looking for 4s. So that's 2 hits. And I get to re-roll one of these because the rest kept missing the thing. No. So 2 hits from my perspective.
Okay.
5s.
And that is 1 hit.
1 hit. Okay, so as I said, the hedgerow really isn't there. So I am saving 1 on a 4. Saves. And you're saving 2 on 4s.
1 saved.
1 saved. So that is in essence another draw because you are losing by 1.
Yep.
You are supported. However, because that combat is a draw, but you are shaken, you have to then take a break test. Test if shaken by drawn hand-to-hand combats. So you take a break test -1. Yeah, because you're not disordered, just the excess casualty. Yeah.
And that's a 10.
That they stay there quite happily.
And that goes back down to 3.
Cool. So that is the end of turn 6. Matt, would you like to roll a dice on a 1, 2, 3? The game ends on a 4, 5, or 6. We go around to a turn. 7. That's either or.
3.
3. So the game ends there on a 6. So that is the end of the game with Matt rolling low on the decider. So in essence, and we've just had a conversation about it, and with the standard, objective of being within 6 inches of the objective, but shaking units don't count towards holding the objectives, it comes down to this unit that is in the attack column can claim the objective. The Irish can claim the objective. That unit of French is shaken, so therefore can't claim it. And the rifles are just a little bit too far out by about half an inch, so they can't claim it. So in essence, we now have 1 unit each claiming the bridge. When we look back out, as we've been discussing, the British have contained the French. Even though they took the bridge at the start, they managed to contain it, and it would probably be only a matter of time before they succumbed to the overwhelming weight of fire that was still there, as it was most likely that the rifles would take the advantage to attack the French in the rear, with the cannon and the King's German Legion just continue to attack the French column, which is at the front, as there are no French units in sight as reinforcements. So that was a very close fought battle. From my perspective as the British player, I thought this was going to be over in like turn 3 when basically my forces didn't bother turning up. However, I think it allowed me to then actually have a more concentrated defence, as Matt then, in my opinion, overstretched himself. He basically pushed forward a little bit too far, which allowed me to then concentrate fire on his units, especially being constrained by going down the road, which then basically constrained his attack columns. Disordering them at the start worked because it then stopped them getting into close combat, which is where they have their advantage over my line. So yeah, it was definitely a bit more of a nervous thing for me. However, by folding in his flanks worked well because I can then more concentrate on his centre. Matt, anything from yourself as the French player?
Well, I think the French really come down to attack. Not necessarily in the most sensible way possible. No, I think as well, I think I relied a bit too much on my artillery getting stuff done for me, and it didn't really do a lot. for the game. So it's just one of those things. No, I very thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. It was one of those ones where it could have gone either way. I mean, there was some very good shooting. There was very poor shooting, I'd like to point out from my perspective. Yeah. The charge by the Cornish, I think, worked really well. The fact that they just went up and over that hill and down into the flank. Unfortunately, that artillery piece managed to then see them off, and that was some very good shooting, I'd say, by the French artillery, but that is probably what you'd expect from French artillery, unlike the British artillery, which would miss constantly at point-blank range. But, that's what British artillery does. Yeah. It likes to just make lots of smoke.
I think French horse batteries are at their best galloping around and putting fire on the flanks of units, so that probably would have been a better use for it earlier on rather than at the 11th hour.
No. Cool. That is it for the game. Are there any final comments, Matt?
Fun little scenario.
Cool, excellent. Well, this has been the Fighting Sailor, so please like, subscribe and share, and also don't forget to add some comments down below, and hopefully we'll get some more Blackpowder out in the future. We have a Judgment Day Part 2 turning up in a couple of weeks, so hopefully we'll get a video and a battle report out for that. See you in the next one.